Okay, so as promised, today I'm going to talk about the first mirror of relationships. And this mirror is that which you are in the moment. And so what this mirror is telling us is that what we see in this is a basically an image of who we are in the moment. It focuses on what we send to the others around us through our emotions and our own personal energy. So an example of this is, have you ever walked into a room and you've been in a fairly good mood, but maybe not like an amazingly radiating good mood, but a good enough mood, and you come into a room and the person in that room is in a terrible mood. And then the next thing you know, you find yourself in a terrible mood. You are mirroring their mood to them. And so this happens because the people around us they pick up our emotions, and especially when we are or they are existing in a space of a low level of personal awareness, of self awareness, then they will tend to pick up the emotions, or they will not notice that they are radiating these emotions out at us. So when I'm in a situation and I find that the people around me are mirroring anger or fear, I will often ask myself, is this me? How do I feel? And then I will do sort of a personal assessment of what's going on, because we often are not necessarily aware of some of the emotions we might be running about some of the things that are not necessarily in our high level conscious mind and in our main consciousness, but are sort of running in the background of our mind, which are the unseen thoughts that we often run, or our feelings about something. And an example of this is, have you ever caught yourself sort of running on a tangent? You may be trying not to think of something that you feel angry about, and you might catch yourself and realize, oh, I've been stewing about this for however long. So that energy is going to radiate out of you. Even if you are trying to hide or repress your own anger about a certain situation, it's going to come out in the actions that you take, in the tone of your voice, in the way you hold your personal presence. And in this way, we begin to basically communicate this emotion to the people around us. And it's difficult for them not to pick it up unless they are living in a state of conscious personal awareness. And so it's important to know that when you feel fear or you feel anger, the people around you will reflect that back to you. And when you feel love and joy, you actually radiate that outwards. And because energy seeks an equilibrium, the people around you, it can begin to raise their emotional experience. And an example of that is if you have been in a terrible mood and you go and you meet up with a friend and they are in a fantastic mood, and you just find your mood lightening and you feel better just for having been in their presence. And so these are all really great examples of the first mirror. Um, and so some good principles to remember is that anger begets more anger. But that joy can sort of dispel that. So a great example of this is, perhaps I have a terrible day at work and I commute a really long distance, and then I come home and I am filled with all sorts of negative energy. I feel angry, I feel resentful, I feel frustrated, or any of these. So perhaps I come home, and because this energy feels so terrible in my body, the vibrational level is very low. These energies are very low on the I guess, levels of consciousness. I think I've spoken about that before, developed by Dr. David Hawkins' work. And so these negative energies are very low. So I'm going to want to essentially, maybe not realizing it, get this energy out of my body. And therefore, I tend to shoot it at the people around me. And because negative energy can beget more negative energy, they may take that on and they're going to mirror that back at me. But I'm now, because they've taken it on, I'm mirroring it at them. And it becomes almost like an emotional ping pong game, sorry. And so to end this, anyone who's ever been in an argument knows that the best way to end this is to drop it. Sometimes we storm off, and I'm not really saying that that's the best way. Perhaps you want to take some time apart in order to remove the emotions yourself. But if you have a high level of personal self-awareness, and you can recognize either that in the moment you're experiencing this first mirror, you can choose not to make the other person's negative emotions about you, or you can choose to catch yourself, because you may realize you have then basically expelled your negative energy to the people around you. And therefore, when they send it back to you, you can recognize it for what it is. This is me in the moment that I am seeing in this other person. And you can stop that by choosing to shift your energy and not getting caught in that like energy ping pong that happens. And so in this way, joy, love, kindness, compassion, these are all really great energies that we can begin, emotional spaces that we can begin to move into in order to not take on someone's energy. And that's the best way to then see them drop that mirror, because it works both ways, just like a house of mirrors. And so whenever you find yourself surrounded by people who are modeling behaviors, or where there's an emotional energy that dominates, ask yourself, is this me in the moment? And if it's not you, it might be one of the other 7, which I'll talk about more tomorrow and beyond.